This gentleman that we've got here is responsible for signing some of the biggest names that have ever played for Arsenal. Jerome Anderson is in the building.
Did you feel the change between Arsenal and Wenger?
This is about a man that literally gave his life to Arsenal Football Club. He was always incredibly loyal to his players and to the board.
Was he too loyal?
Charlie introduced me to a 15-year-old David Rocastle.
Oh, wow.
He brought him into my office one day and he went, listen, I want you to look after him like a dad. Sorry, every time I speak about David, I find it, even to this day, very, very difficult. I personally take my hat off to the manager and the players. The players needed help in January, not just the fans. I don't know if that story's ever come out.
Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. I'm here with Turkish. We're live. It's a fan zone. It's a chance for you guys to have your say. You've heard us going on and on about the transfers from Sesko to Gyökeres to Zubimendi's impact to Kepa Arrizabalaga, the one that Turkish always wanted. And now we're here to get your thoughts on it all. Listen, the link will be in the description below. You can see it, not in the description below, sorry, in the chat, the live chat right now. You can see it. Click the link to call in. It'll take you to the app and you can have your say with us and go check out the A-list as well. That's going to be a fascinating interview. Turkish, how are you, mate?
I'm all right. Nothing's changed. Sesko and Gyökeres. Isn't that what we're here for?
Pretty much. Yeah. Only this time, me and you don't have to rant about it. We can let others come and just go for it. Really. You know what? Since this morning's Premier League fixtures was actually like a nice break from worrying about all the transfer stuff, because you're so used to in the season thinking about the games, the injury news, maybe the transfers alongside that, whatever it might be. What Arteta's been saying, there's only so much talk about. This is just transfers, and we've got another 2.5 months of it. So strap into us, I guess.
I mean, it better not be 2.5 months of it. Tour starts in a month and the season starts in less than 2. So I'm not giving them 2.5 to get it done. I don't want to be doing any business between game week 1 and deadline day. That should be ideal, no?
Completely agree. But do you know who you support?
Of course I do. But I think this year on the cards, there's been nowhere to hide. Last window, the window before that, this window now, the fixture list has come out. It's a strong start to the season. So the club need to do what they need to do. You know, if they've really learned off of that first, let's say, moving into the Emirates up until Be Excited, if they've really learned anything of it, then we will see it in play, because far too often this club have left it to the last couple of weeks. Arteta came in a panic. I think 4 or 5 players came in over a course of 48 hours after we got smoked 8-2 by United. So yeah, I'm much more used to that from Arsenal, but I will still demand what needs to be demanded from a big club in this position, not just Arsenal, just in general.
Yeah, and rightly so. Do you know what? Yeah, I thought we had a really good debate on Forever Arsenal last week, where we were debating Sesko, Gyökeres, how quickly our business is going ahead or whatever. And I thought I took a different stance to the three of you, to be fair. But the one thing that is absolutely winding me up is very few people actually have a clue what's going on. And very few updates are actually really updating us on anything. And I totally appreciate that journalists are constantly pestered for information. And it's hard they can't make up information. But, even just this morning, Sport Build came out with, Arsenal and Sesko have reached an agreement. They're kind of aligned. To think, well, that's something. And then for Fabrizio Romano to come out and sort of say, well, actually, that's not where we are. It's like, this is all in the space of 7 hours. It just does my head in. It's like, what I mean, not even that one piece of kind of key information can even be established quite clearly. And there's so many others coming with so much. And there's the Gyökeres stuff, and everyone ultimately then falls back on, well, they're choosing. And it's like, I'm not sure they're quite choosing. I think they're probably still establishing the deals, but can we get a little bit more detail on what exactly there is they're looking for? But I appreciate that's difficult to do, because Arsenal will keep things internal in. That's the bit I find really frustrating, Turks. It's like, that wasn't an update. And actually, it was just I don't want to say a lie. Someone must have genuinely thought they had that information on a Sesko agreement, but within like 5-6 hours, like that's put to bed. It's like, oh, sorry, that's not actually true, and you're kind of back at square one again.
Yeah, I mean that's part and parcel of the window. And when you're an Arsenal fan, we're used and abused the most in transfer windows, in my opinion.
I agree.
Mainly because we go mad the most, we get excited the most, and we click the most, and we get carried away the most. And these people play off of that. The Sesko agent stuff was semi interesting. I know it's not really the biggest of updates, but I mean, I guess he used his words quite specifically, mentioning special project, special club, and whatnot. But at the same time, saying we're not gonna, force Leipzig's hand. So I don't know. I mean, how did that sit with you?
It. Do you know what? I don't know why it struck me. I have no idea who his agent is. I know nothing of his character, his personality, or anything like that. It struck me as almost like the anti-Gyökeres approach, where the Gyökeres thing has got really quite public with the president getting involved and Gyökeres' stance. He even had to post something on Instagram. It almost struck as like we'll do this the right way. I don't know why. I don't know if maybe they're just trying to be fair people, fair to Leipzig. I mean, they literally signed a new contract with Leipzig a year ago. It's not like they've got all the strength in this negotiation. But it did strike me as a little bit like a week on from the Gyökeres drama. No, this is how we do things. I don't really know why. I mean, I'm probably looking at it through the lens of an Arsenal fan who's kind of following the two things. They probably don't really give a shit about the Gyökeres side of things. But you know where I'm coming from with that? I don't know. It felt a bit like, oh, that's the complete opposite to what we heard a week ago on the other side.
Yeah, like you'd think the agent, especially, would be more forthcoming with at least a little through ball on things, rather than kind of being the low block that the through ball is trying to get through. He's kind of added to that. And when you counter it with the Gyökeres stuff, again, it kind of leans into, hold on, brother, you're 22 years old. You haven't bagged over 14 goals in Bundesliga. Do you want to come to Arsenal Football Club and challenge for league titles and potentially take us over the line or not? Like, it's like, what are we doing here? So the agent coming out with those words, I mean, it doesn't really. I think we want Sesko more, right? I think it's, that's not breaking news, is it? It seems like we're leaning more to that. But surely by now, especially when you consider the first point of contact was 12 months ago at the very least, surely by now the agent should know the MO. And the MO is he's going to join Arsenal, or he wants to join Arsenal, or Arsenal are interested and we're discussing. The quote to me just came across very, like you said, anti, in terms of Gyökeres, the agent stuff, opened arms. There's a through ball there. Are we going to finish it? This quote comes out, and it's kind of like, well, are we even going to get through the back line? Because this is meant to be the guy that we, we've put as the number one target. This is the guy we kept the powder dry for, no? So how 2 weeks into June is his agent a bit confusing with his words? I don't know.
Yeah, it also didn't strike me as something that was moving particularly quickly. It struck me as this could still be a few more weeks. Like, it wasn't like, my client is happy at Leipzig, but we're listening to opportunities and we'll have an answer for you all soon on his future. It wasn't even like that, which could have been respectful, but also letting us know that we're getting somewhere. And look, again, he can't make up that they're further along than they are. I would just like them to be further along than they are with either player. I mean, I know it's June 18th and only a week ago I was preaching patience, but I'm like, I mean it more from the perspective of the whole window. I mean, there's only so long this particular saga between these two players can go on. I mean, really, I guess the point was like, what are we doing here?
Well, you'd think, but it can drag. My problem with it is, I think we can say pretty confidently, will the strikers not coming in before 1st of July? Because we know,
I
even
agree with
from
that.
even from the first bid, it's going to take us a couple of weeks going off, the history of Arsenal in the transfer window. And again, I've said 4 weeks away from pre-season, so really we've got 2 weeks to kind of get in, and it's not just a striker we need. That's why it's not panic. I'm not saying panic, but that's why it's kind of frustrating so far, because we've got quite a bit of business to do. Equally, Liverpool had quite a bit of business to do, but 3 of their 4 main gaps have been plugged real early, and they can take their time with the last one. I can understand taking time, market opportunities, see what dominoes fall into place for you to, potentially knock the next one down. I get all that, but you can't rely upon that. And we know we need 4, 5, 6 players if we're looking at squad anyway. So, get the moving, like get a bid in, at least get a bid in. And until we get a bid in, like I said, there'll be at minimum 10 days after that anything signed, sealed, delivered. And that's probably being nice saying 10 days. The media team take about 2 weeks to create the video. So it's all mad. Bro, Cecil's dance is out quicker than Cecil's dance is out, ready to go. And it's the Arsenal media team that are the ones that are holding it all up.
This guy has to welcome 2 players, we think, at the moment, Zubimendi and Kepa, and they're both Spanish. So what he's going to come up with, having already probably rinsed
you
his...
can't welcome Kepa. We have to. I'm vetoing that, or whatever it's called. We are not welcoming Kepa. Just let him back door. There it is, mate. There's the changing room. This is where you're going to be. If we need you, we'll call you. Hopefully, we don't need you, and that's it, bro. We don't need to welcome him. Don't have Cecil prancing about for Kepa. Fuck. Oh my God. No, we can't do that. Or just do the Zubimendi one, and at the end, just hi Kepa. Quickly, just move on. Just straight. Oh, fancy seeing you here. Let's move on.
This is Cecil we're talking about. Yeah, he's going to get creative with it. We've got a super chat from Suj. Says, big up James and Turkish. Hit the lights, people. We'll remind you guys, it's a call-in. This is your chance to have your say. I know we're rehashing some stuff. We're giving you all the chance to jump on the link, which is here in the chat. I think it's pinned. Yes, pinned to the top. I've got some of the super chats we'll get through in a sec. I also want to touch on Isak. We need to talk about Isak in just a sec. But these super chats very quickly. Blicky94 says, winners look at second place finishers and get best in class, not projects. Would Sir Alex Abramovich will City get Isak or Sesko after 3 seasons in second, or try and lose out on Sane or loan Sterling? Right, yeah, fine. Karen says, Ben Jacobs has just said Liverpool going to try Fort Isak. What is your guys' thoughts on if that happens? Going to fight for Isak, maybe? Surely we should be in the mix. Carnage hadn't actually seen your super chat. That's exactly what I want to chat about, so we'll go for that. Nathan also says, so Rodrygo's playing for Real Madrid. Rodrygo is only coming to Arsenal if Real Madrid give him away. Nico Williams only coming if Barca say no. No pull. Is that right? So he's starting for Real Madrid tonight, is he, Rodrygo? That's a shame.
That's quite big, yeah. I mean, the chances were slim, but
that is quite big up. I mean, the chance was. They are starting him on the right again. That's the one thing I'll say. Actually, Trent and Howson are starting as well, which is interesting. They are starting on the right wing, which I think is what the Athletic quite literally reported was the problem. And I can imagine that Rodrygo thing, the conversation with Alonso is very much going to be, look, is this where you see me? Is it out on the right wing? And if he said, yeah, that's where I intend to use you, then maybe he'll go, well, then in that case, I do want to move. I don't think Alonso is ever going to look at him and go, no, I don't rate the player, get rid of him. I was just hoping he would not want to use him in a way that Rodrygo is happy with. So let's see. But that super chat that was sent in by Carnage raises a really good question, man. If Liverpool are going to push Newcastle for Isak, having just spent 120 million on Florian Wirtz, why can we not do the same? And I know that they're the champions. I understand that. But I still don't think we're at a level of club and at a level in our project or whatever, and a level of group where we can at least be knocking on the door. This is the one thing that will start to piss me off. If we're not even involved in these conversations, having been told that we're keeping our powder dry for the big one, and Liverpool are the ones knocking on the door for the big one.
Same bullshit, different year for me. I mean, I think people are going to catch up on the whole reason why my introduction and, to be honest, short-lived career online or whatever you call it, it has been mainly about this ownership. We're back to square one, and they're showing their hand. They can tell us be excited all we like. We had self-sustainability again 12 months or so ago, and the last 3 windows, including this one so far, looks very much self-sustainable. And by that I mean, let's not take risks too early. Let's measure up the market, maybe see the dominoes rather than be the one that knocks the first domino down to create, whatever else happens. We are the ones waiting for someone else or other team to knock dominoes down. This ownership ain't serious about winning, the majors. That's why even when we've been close to it and people might ask and have asked, what do you think about these owners? And are you ready to apologize? Or if we get over the line this league, are you going to apologize? No. Listen, we need a Premier League title. Arsenal Football Club shouldn't be going 20 plus years without a Premier League title. Like we all want that. But at the end of the day, the way they've taken the piss with this club, I'm pretty sure that even if Arteta, who's a very good coach, manages to pull something out, because he's been close to pulling something out that I didn't expect for sure. If he does, this ownership ain't built to build on that. And I think this is the windows are evidence of it, because just ask yourselves, how did we let last summer? I can't even think properly straight about this summer without bringing last summer into it, because last summer was year 5. It was 2 back-to-back challenges. It was the summer after the summer, and by that I mean the only summer in the Emirates era we actually plugged positions we needed to plug. I didn't like the Havertz signing, but cool, you've gone with him, whatever. I didn't like a few of your signings before, and now I love a couple of them. So you got the benefit of doubt. But the club went on to have the summer that they had last summer. That wasn't a club that are aiming to seize an opportunity. The City's downfall wasn't, it wasn't a shock. They went for Gundogan after letting him go a year later. There was something going on with their windows recently. Nunes didn't work out. Phillips a few years before that. At the end of the day, 4 in a row and the treble. Amazing achievements. But that transition was coming. But did we do enough in the summer to even try and, take advantage of that? We didn't. And then some might say, Liverpool didn't do anything. But Liverpool have, pure winners in the side, and they've got quality that we still can't. And to be honest, we can't buy. So at the end of the day, that told me all I need to know. Then January comes about. There's an opportunity there, not a market opportunity. I mean, opportunity in terms of we can still win something this season. So if you are serious about this stuff, then try. Because trying and failing, I can understand that, but not trying and failing, I can't understand that. And here we are in the summer. I'm not panicking yet, but I'm definitely questioning and looking. I say I'm not panicking because I'm resigned to knowing what is coming.
What is what?
Do you get it? Like there isn't a player out there that I see us signing that's going to make me think, oh shit. And that's Isak probably. And he's linked to Liverpool more than us now. So that's even a job.
Yeah. I want to chat more about Isak. Before we do, though, we've actually got a Real Madrid fan who's calling in to talk about Rodrygo, and this is the kind of insight I want. So let's welcome him to the show. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? And welcome to AFTV.
Yeah, hey guys. It's Aditya. I'm happy to join and love to follow your content for a while, so really happy to jump on.
Nice to meet you.
So I guess kind of the main point on the bit of a lag from my end, so kind of bear with me for a bit. But I guess the whole Rodrygo situation, at least from a Madrid perspective, is a bit more. It's a bit more nuanced from our end, because there is a substantial part of the fan base who are more than willing to let him leave at this point, because he's never really had a season, and we've all kind of expected it to have that season where he's burst through like Vinny did 4 years ago. And I guess he's kind of cemented his player where he'll have these streaks in a season for 10, 12 games in patches where he looks like the next version of Neymar, like incredible. And then he'll have another month or two where he'll just disappear off the face of the planet. He becomes anonymous in games. Is that because of the position stuff? I do think that argument has been a bit kind of over-exaggerated, because if you watched when he was a kid in Brazil, he played on the right wing for many years. It's not, this right wing issue is only an issue because it's a convenient argument because everybody else is thriving and he's not. So it's not really, to me, I mean, an effective argument to say that he hasn't outputted just because he's not been in a specific position. I'm not saying that he couldn't in the right system and everything else that y'all talk about pretty consistently. But I do think at this point in his career, he does want that move where he becomes the hub of the team. And I'd be honest with you, if he goes to Arsenal, is Saka the hub or is Rodrygo the hub? Because if you look at the big teams in Europe, whether it's Bayern, PSG, even Madrid, for example, they have one guy as the hub, and then you have outlets throughout the other team or facilitators for that exact player, like Yamal or Vinny at Madrid. Saka, to me, seems very much that type of guy at Arsenal. Would you guys say that, would you replace majority of the touches that are going through Saka towards Rodrygo if he would come?
I think that's a great question, because Saka is in both the way he plays, but also in his personality. I think really taking on the this is who I am. I'm one of the best wingers in the world. Treat me like it. And I thought you saw that in his response when asked about getting to Vinicius and Mbappe's level, and he kind of answered it with a bit of a like, what do you mean? I'm at that level without explicitly saying it. I think what we need on the left is someone who is going to stop teams wanting to crowd out our right-hand side so much, because at the moment they feel, I think teams are quite happy to let Martinelli in space, to leave Trossard in space, to leave our striker in space sometimes. And they're quite happy to do that to ensure that they shut out the main threats, which are Ødegaard and Saka, maybe not Ødegaard of the last year. Rodrygo, I think, balances that out, but I don't think you necessarily need like one main man, because I remember Salah and Mane. I mean, you didn't know what to do with them. Both of them were just threats on the touchline, on the inside, swapping positions. And I think Arsenal could do a little bit of that, especially because it doesn't look like they're going to build with like an out-and-out 9 who's expected to get the goals. I think it's going to be from wider areas, like in 22-23 when Martinelli was chipping in a lot. I don't know. How do you see it, Turkish, the balance of the main man and where we filter most of our football through? Because down the left with Lewis Skelly inverting is arguably where we got almost more progression, but we just don't tend to go down that way because we want to get the ball to Saka.
I'm very simplistic about these things. I couldn't care less who touches the ball more. I mean, when you look up whoever's got more space in front of them, and let's start transitioning the ball a bit quicker, that's who you go to. That's the point of it, having two threats on either side. I never used to worry about what Bergkamp would do with Henry there, or what Perez would do with Ljungberg there, or vice versa. All these men played a part, whether runs in behind, runs head on, passing the ball. I mean, everyone plays their part, and right now we lack quality. We've seen Saka quadrupled up on at times across the last 2 years. Why? Because over the last 2 years we've been exposed, and he is the mainstay threat in the side. So what we do with Rodrygo is straight away you add a threat there. And it's up to him then if it was even attainable, because I'm still, it's still a dream. I mean, and Rodrygo's not I say dream. Football's fell off so much because Rodrygo is not like the finished article, right? But the market is just scarce of real quality and talent. So I do understand Aditya saying what he said about Rodrygo on the right-hand side, but generally footballers like to cut in on their stronger side in this generation, and he's got a sweet strike on him. Now, we've seen it enough to know that he's got a strike on him. So I think give him more freedom and in his position more consistently, you get a better Rodrygo. I've seen a lot of Real Madrid fans comment in videos of mine or generally on the internet saying they'd hate to lose a Rodrygo, or some even saying they'd rather test him on the left hand side to see the numbers he could bring, because Vinicius is quality, of course, and Vinicius over the last however many years has been the better winger, but he's playing in his position. So it depends on what Rodrygo wants to do. I'd love him here, and if he was to come here, I'm not worried about who touches the ball when. I'm just happy we've got two wingers that can provide a threat and stretch the defense of the opposition, because right now the defense just packs in to their left on our right, and everything else off the back of it is we've seen, James, week in, week out, it's been a chore trying to create chances at times because it's easy for opposition to defend.
Yeah. I completely agree. What do you think will happen, mate?
Yeah.
How do you think this Rodrygo saga ends?
I'll be honest with you, it's gonna be a slow burn until the end of the summer. Like I don't see a decision. Like there are rumors, at least from the Madrid camp, that they're gonna wait. They're gonna talk to him during and after the World Cup, the Club World Cup, with the coach. And I do feel those conversations will be drawn out until July, August at the minimum. Because I do think Xavi is more than willing to. Here's the way I see it. I don't see Rodrygo leaving unless the club push him out or Arsenal come in. Like he's happy to stay here for another season and fight it out. Like we're going to be in all the competitions. I think Xavi is recruited pretty well with the signings we've looked at this summer. He'd say, I have a great chance to go win the league and the Champions League again this year. So I don't think he has a problem with staying. I think Arsenal have to take the initiative in this case and present him with a project and convince him on that end. Because I do think the figures that are being reported, Madrid are not asking for like £100 million. Like from a fan perspective, of course, we're like, you'll get him for everything you got, but like don't what do you call it? Like they'll be happy if it was like 70, 80 million pounds. It wouldn't be. It's not crazy money for his type of player, and then the market there is for those type of wingers. That's a pretty reasonable fee. I don't think Madrid have ever really looked at we're going to draw a saga out if a player asks out. Florentino have been very clear on if a player doesn't want to be here, he doesn't have to be here. That's the whole point. And I do think the signings that we've looked at in the summer with the kid from Argentina, we still have Guler, who's projected to be a big part of the squad coming this season under Xavi. And you also have Endrick and Brahim as well. You have a lot of depth in the Franco Mastantano from
you lot are taking the piss there. You have Arda Güler there, and then you lot still buying attacking midfielders. Like, what's going on? Like, Arda, do you know how good Arda Güler? Sorry, I'm gonna change the side. This would be Turkish fan TV.
Go for it. No,
LDN, you know what I'm saying? But no, it's yeah. I think you guys have seen those reports out of Marca that. I mean, it's been the policy for like 6 years now, when they look at young, like generational talents, and then you look at more veteran players on a free. Alaba, Rudiger, Trent, Mbappe, those players that kind of keep the foundation at a good level, and then that allows the youth that come in the time to kind of bed in with the senior players, because you don't have to like if we have like youth players from Castilla, the youth team coming through, and you don't want them starting week in week out. They just the level is the disparity in level is going to be too much. So you have time to embed players. I do also think from an Arsenal perspective, the scheme has to be a bit different this season. It is far too pragmatic. Like I've been very critical of Guardiola in this sense as well, but I think he's gotten away with it just because of the volume of resources he's had at City. I think Arteta has kind of built Arsenal in a very similar approach, where he's built a very solid foundation and a floor for this team, which is a good thing. Like if he does leave in the next season or so, whoever the next manager is, he has a very good basis to go fight for another title. You don't have to start all over again, but it does cap the ceiling. It like even with Saka, he looks. There's another level or two you can go with him. Like look at what Yamal does at Barca. He just broke through like a season ago. He's already like the amount of touches and the way he works. You don't have to be defensively solid to be successful from a trophy perspective, obviously. But there's a balance there, and I do think Arteta has to find that this season, and that comes more from obviously threats on both wings, but then also threats from the middle as well. Because if you have Saka and Rodrygo as the wide threats, you create more space in the middle. You have more. The fullbacks get pulled wide. Maybe one of the center backs or the midfielders get pulled wider. You have space in the middle. Is Odegaard or Sesko or Havertz? So will any of those players be that level to capitalize for Arsenal and with those spaces? I guess that's kind of like the big question come this season. Do Arsenal have enough differentials. So yeah.
No,
Mate, I appreciate you for your insight massively. Thank you. And yeah, the Rodrygo thing, I agree. I think we'll rumble on a little bit, but mate, thank you for joining us. We're going to chat to another caller, but thank you, man. Really appreciate it, and hope to speak to you soon. And he's gone. Yeah, great insight there, Turkish. To be fair, like honestly, and I think interesting that there's kind of the spurts of form from Rodrygo, but the quality we kind of all know about. And he said, would Arsenal make a real play to kind of force this to happen? It doesn't sound like the kind of thing we do, but it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course it would be nice. Test the waters, man. Fucking hell, man. You don't know if you don't try. So just try.
Yeah, I agree. Got some super chats. Blicky94 says, waited for Super Leagues to get 100% ownership. Didn't work with Stan as VPs there to invest. We're back in the Champions League with a great coach. No need to invest with PSR excuse. We're where they want us. I think he's been critical of the ownership there. Yep. Leandro says, Cava to AFC. We would be champions, not PSG. Oh, if we'd signed Kvaratskhelia. That's such a big one that got away. And by the way, I'm not saying why didn't we beat PSG to them? PSG are a massive club with great players and a great manager. Like, he might well have picked there. But the fact that we were never in the conversation where at least Liverpool were, at least like other clubs, I think even Chelsea, their name came up and we never did. So disappointing. John, what's that, sorry?
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool. They did. They put their hat in the ring again. John says, when City play Liverpool, we have Sunderland home and away. Us versus City. Liverpool have the derby home and away. Then Liverpool versus us. City have Brighton home and away. I want to see us take advantage of rivals' dropped points. I never looked at it like that, John, but I kind of hear you on those weekends where that our rivals are playing big games and, face to face. We need to be there to take advantage. I remember I was on a flight to Australia thinking, great, Arsenal, West Ham, let's win. Let's cut the gap to 5 points. And then Liverpool go to the Etihad. We fucking lost. And I slept through, because I was jet lagged, the City-Liverpool game, because I was like, what's the point? And I woke up and Liverpool had won. Now, Liverpool were brilliant. City weren't great all season, and Liverpool might well have won that. But we never got the kind of result that would have at least made Liverpool stress about that game. They probably went into it like, great, free hit, brilliant. So I think that's a really good super chat. Not that it's crucial, but that it's an interesting point. We've got newly promoted Sunderland when they play each other. We need to take 6 points as they drop points around each other. So yeah, should we take our next caller? I believe Ryan in the back end, who's done an amazing job, guys. Hit the like button just for Ryan, who's put all this together. I think we have another caller. So let's welcome him to the show. Hey man, how you doing? What's your name? I think there's a slight delay, to be fair. So we're going to give him a sec. Okay, there we go. Fair enough. Guys, this is round one of testing, people. We will get there. We will get there. But Ryan, feel free to drop him on. There we go. Hey, how you doing, man? I've seen you ages. Yeah, good, mate. How are you? It's been a while, man. How are you?
Why have you guys stopped doing these reactions, post-match reactions? I need a place to give my opinion.
To be fair, we are looking to bring them back in some capacity. So sorry that we thought this was a good way to actually bring them back around transfers, and there've been some sort of changes around studio setup and all sorts. But it's good to see you again, man. Look, let's catch up. Where are you on all this? Where are you on our battle for Isak that we're not in but should be in? Where are you on Sesko Gyökeres? Where are you on the business we are doing, should be doing? Really curious to know your thoughts, man.
Well, nothing going on too much right now. I mean, our new sporting director. What is wrong with this camera? Sorry. Yeah. Our new sporting director is supposedly talking to a few players at the same time. So until something is announced, I think Zubimendi is almost 100% right. We're just waiting for July, really, apparently.
Yeah.
But in terms of between Sesko, Isak, and Gyökeres, I mean, I don't think Isak will be available for anybody, really.
You think Liverpool are wasting their time with that one?
Yeah, I think so. Plus, they've already spent 126 on Vert. So how much do you think are they really willing to spend on Isak, who is probably at least 150 million? So
Yeah,
I think that's a
but
waste
do you
of
not
time
think
between
maybe?
Gyökeres and.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you there. Do you think maybe the fact that they're even trying to be quite aggressive in the market with Isak is going to lend them favours in maybe a year's time if he becomes more available?
Maybe, but I'm not looking a year ahead. I'm looking at now, really. I mean, right now, I don't know what people see in that Sesko. I mean, I watched Sesko quite a few times with Leipzig. I've seen him in Champions League against Real Madrid. I've seen him in the Bundesliga. I remember that game against Portugal. They've had Slovenia, and he had a 1-on-1 against the goalkeeper. They could have gone through in extra time, and he shoots right at the goalkeeper. I mean, a few times I've seen this guy, and the way I evaluate him, he's the player that's going to frustrate us a lot next season if we're going to sign him. Whereas on the other side, you've got a guy who scored how many goals, how many goal involvements. The stats are crazy, and we're somehow, choosing between two players just because of the age. But the way I see it, 27 is a very good age for a football player. So for me, it's a no-brainer between Gyökeres and Sesko. I know there's something going on between Gyökeres and Sporting because supposedly they promised to let him go. There was a gentleman's agreement or something like that. I hope between the two we go for Gyökeres. I know we're probably not going to get Rodrygo. Apparently Fabrizio Romano yesterday said that he's staying at Real Madrid, probably had a conversation with Xabi Alonso. They're playing today. Let's see if he's in the starting lineup. But,
Yes.
there are wingers. Yeah, so there are options out there. Nico Williams, if he doesn't go to Barcelona, there are options within the Premier League, like a Semenyo, players like that. I like the idea of Morgan Rodgers, by the way. I know Turkish didn't really appreciate that when I think I've heard something the other day when
I like Morgan Rodgers. He doesn't give me goosebumps. I mean, we're not fucking Sunderland. And to be honest, respect to Sunderland, they've won 6 titles. But like Morgan Rodgers is a good player. I'll take Morgan Rodgers.
very,
It's not.
very few players give me goosebumps these days, Turkish.
Exactly. You're right. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
No.
Vinicius Jr. would give me goosebumps if he was coming to Arsenal, or we're winning the league with that guy. But there's a few of them. There's probably like 5 players right now that you could say really give you goosebumps. But yeah, no, I think Morgan Rodgers would improve us. I think somebody like a Semenyo, possibly. I'm not a huge fan of Nico Williams, but I'll take it. Which is why I think if we're not going to sign that like super winger, we need to sign a super striker, and the super striker right now available to us is Gyökeres. And I've been hearing Thomas Partey might be leaving now. I was confident the whole way he might be extending with us, but apparently something is not working out. So if we get Zubamendi, we probably need another backup in that position as well, because I thought it would be perfect in midfield if Thomas Partey was staying, because then we got Thomas Partey and Zubamendi, which we're going to need. Have you seen our schedule today?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I
think you touched on a really, I think you touched on a really interesting point about it's got to be a superstar, one or the other, and ideally both. But if you're going for the striker in Sesko, who supposedly is more drops into midfield, facilitative, I'm sorry, the left winger has to be an absolute world beater, because you need to know that they're facilitating something quality. If you're going for Gyökeres, who is someone you play to feed a striker like him, then or an Isak, someone you can rely on for numbers, then I'm slightly more forgiving on what that left winger looks like. But for me, there has to be a superstar alongside Saka. At the moment, we're just completely relying on him.
Well, Sesko just seems like such a clumsy player to me. There's no tech, balls bouncing off him. He's a height player.
Wow, really?
It's kind of like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't see it. I don't know. Maybe I've seen. I think I've seen a good sample of games to be making that evaluation. So I just don't like him as a player. But maybe I'm wrong. Listen, there are scouts out there, Arsenal scouts who have evaluated, who have have analyzed him as a player. So you got to trust them. But Arteta has 1 season left. No excuses next season, and he's on a tightrope as it is. An FA Cup might not do this time. We've got higher expectations than that. So
yeah,
he better be knowing what he's doing when he's signing Sesko, and he better know what he's doing when he's signing the rest of the players. Zubamendi, whoever winger comes to the club, he better know, because we can attract a lot of players right now. There's not many players that are going to say no to Arsenal.
Agreed. Mans, sorry to keep it quite short, but we've got other callers, but it's an
No
absolute
worries.
pleasure
Good to
to
see
hear
you again,
from you
guys.
again, man. Yeah,
Cheers.
please jump on. We're doing
Yeah.
this every week, yeah? So we'll catch you in a bit.
See you, James. See you, Turkish.
Nice
Catch
one,
you in a
man.
bit, man. Perfect. Now, I think we've got some guys that are new to AFTV, I think, so it'd be good to get their thoughts. Let's bring them in. Oh, there they are. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
They've been drinking.
How's it going, bro?
How's it going?
Father and son.
Fuck off, Turkish.
And it's all right. We've had enough of worrying about Sesko and Gyökeres. Right, we've had enough. So we said, right, we're going to the beach. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We ain't going to think about Sesko or Gyökeres or Ollie Watkins or any of them. Rodrygo, none of them, bro. I've had enough.
Until
Yeah.
7 a.m. tomorrow morning, and it's hello, welcome back to the rumours and everything around Arsenal.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I've had enough, bro.
How's the
Yeah.
bedrooms, lads? How's the bedrooms? Because I'll be honest, the sea behind us and the yachts, the nights over here. How's
Yeah,
these days?
you enjoy that because you're back here waving the Spanish flag for Kepa's arrival next week, bro. So you better get your salsa on, mate. Yeah, Robbie, make
What's
sure.
happening anyway? What's happening?
What's been going on?
What's happening?
We're good,
Nothing.
man. Yeah, that's true. Nothing's happening. Nothing
What are you
is
saying?
happening.
What are you saying? Man United away first game, boys.
Yeah, you know what,
I think-
right? I saw that fixture list come out. You know what? Funny enough, like it got leaked to me last night, and I thought, nah, no way is that going to be the fixtures. And then when it came out this morning, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I don't think we could have got much of a harder start. That is a really, really difficult start. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, Arsenal have got to go out there and get in some very, very good start. We're gonna have to. We got to hit the ground running now.
Yeah.
We have to hit the ground running because Man United away, as bad as United have been, they've got new signings in and that. The place Old Trafford will be buzzing for those new signings on the first game. Leeds at home, all right, I think we should be okay.
Yeah, they're
Then
Liverpool.
away at Liverpool, you know, I mean, Wirtz and all. I mean, somebody said to me that Salah might not play, but they're still going to have Wirtz and all these new signings. Arsenal got to hit the ground running. They got to go and get some proper signings in before, like you said the other day, James, before we go on pre-season, we got to have them in place.
I need it before then, man. I need to hurry up. The window's back open. Hurry up, Arsenal, man. Taking the mic.
Yeah.
Taking the mic.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. The fixture list has piled even more pressure. We had that last summer, and did it really speed Arsenal up? Not really. Marino wasn't in there in time for tour. Calafiori, I think, barely played any of tour, did he? He came in. He was just there in Philadelphia, but he didn't play. Everything was so. Yeah, it was slow, and we knew that we had that fixture pressure, but I guess you forgive them slightly because of the Euros. Do you know what, though? Apart from the first 6 games, we were live on Forever Arsenal, Turkish and I talking about it. I actually think the rest of the fixture list is good. I think the running's good. I think the Christmas period's good. I don't think there's any other spells where it
November's a
looks
bit-
too bad.
Yeah, but it's a hard start, James. You know, like sometimes, like if you look at Liverpool last year, right? They're really able to get a head of steam up because they had a relatively easy start. Remember when everyone kept commenting and saying, "Oh, they ain't played no one yet."
Yeah.
But by the time they
Yeah,
sort
you're
of
right.
got to those really difficult games, you know what I mean? They were in a really good situation, so, you know, they could handle them better. The fear is, and maybe I shouldn't think this way, because at the end of the day, we haven't lost the top 6 teams over the last 2 seasons. But the fear is, suppose we did get off to a bad start. You know what I mean? It's so, like you said, James, the pressure is on now. They've got to go out there and get these signings in early.
Yeah, winning the league's never easy anyway. Regardless of whoever it's always going to be tough. You're going to have to play a run it twice anyway. So
Yeah, but
it is
listen,
what it is.
you
I
don't
know
want
what
to
you're
be
saying.
starting off with games like that.
Well, if you've got the signings, like I said, if you've got people in, it shouldn't be too much of a worry. It's just we haven't got it
Away.
right now.
If those games were at home, but away. But you're right, James.
We did it last season. Though. I know it wasn't Liverpool. We did like Tottenham. We had a hard.
No, this is the hardest
Aston Villa.
start. This is the hardest start.
Do you
I
think,
don't.
yeah?
What do you think?
No, we had Villa away, Spurs away.
Turkish, where you at? These? I think this is the hardest start.
We had a
I
hard
think
start
this is
last
hard.
season. Villa away.
Yeah, we did have a hard one last year. I think this is harder. I'm with Robbie. I think it is. This is nasty.
No, man, I love this
Oh,
one.
no,
This
you're
is
not-
what we need, man. This is what we. The 6th year, phase
I
6.
knew he'd say that. I knew
Yeah,
you'd
that's
say that. Why did I know you'd say that?
But
Because
he's
there's
not
no
wrong.
one for the club.
This is what we
There's
need.
no
We want an easy
There's
start.
nowhere. There's no. So what? This ain't Emery's first season or Arteta's second season. This is phase 6. This is Be Excited part 6. This is the time. This is
He's
the
not wrong.
living
He's
now.
not wrong.
Whoever stands in front of us, it's time to knock them down, right? No excuses. So get the fucking team ready, whoever it is, and make sure game week 1 we are ready, and we don't need to sign no one after United because we've done our business. But I already know we're not going to do that. So it's a bit of a catch-22.
Well, say it to him, brother. You're coming on tour. You're gonna be in a press conference. Sell him. I want the same
I
energy.
will.
You tell him, yo, no
if you man
excuses.
if you man let me into this press conferences, it might be the last AFTV press conference you lot get. I'm being real. Let me in and let me ask a question.
You should have got an email. I think I'll put you down. You should have
I ain't
got
got
the
an
email.
email. That's what I'm saying. James got an email. I ain't got an email, bro. What do
You
you?
should have got.
You
I'll
should have
put your
sent
name
someone
down
else.
as well.
Bro.
Yeah, make sure you don't get
Yeah. So I'll put his name down as well. I'll put him and Leon there. Anyway,
But put your name down, right? Turkish at
yeah, different something else. Positive fan number 12 at Gmail.
Turkish at myspace.com.
Bro, if they mess about, I'm in that press conference. I'm in that press conference.
Well, yeah, listen, you are, to be honest, he's right. He's right.
If we don't sign
Like,
him by then,
if there was ever a motivation to go out there and get like those players in place for that first game, that is it. You know what I mean? Like, go out there and get those weapons in place. But I said it on my show today. I was looking at it yesterday, and Arsenal, Fulham, Nottingham Forest,
yeah.
and it was Wolves signed the players, not even Wolves no more. Nottingham Forest, and I forget the other team, Crystal Palace. They're the only teams, those 4 teams are the only teams that haven't signed a player yet this transfer window. I mean, I can't believe it. And we're in the Champions League. I don't get it.
Goosebumps.
Incompetence.
Goosebumps.
Well, listen, lads.
Just before you go,
Listen, yeah.
there's
Okay,
some
go on, because
comments.
the music's bumping. I've got a
No, I
dog.
hear it.
Sorry?
But they're asking if Robbie's chilling on his private island. We just want to clarify.
Yeah,
That was
just well, he's got someone there, but yeah, just
I'll tell you
That's
what,
not
right? What it
Finsbury
is,
Park.
we're over here just to put a context on it. So we're over here in Cannes the other day. Cannes at the moment is called a festival called Cannes Lions, and basically like a lot of brands and a lot of sporting people are here. So yesterday was here with Ian Wright and Katie McCabe's here as well, and then like there's loads of like there's a concert going on with Cardi B tonight that we're trying to see if we can get gate crash into. There's also one with Ludacris. 50 Cent was performing here. Like, it's absolutely unbelievable, guys. You guys got to get over here next year. Like, and like,
Robbie, stop
yeah, it's
saying that,
really
man.
good. Like,
Robbie goes all
last-
over. Robbie goes all over the place.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
and
say
then
that.
whilst
You can't
he's
say
there,
go over it and be like,
you guys should come
last
next
night,
time.
DJ AG was here, of course, big Arsenal fan, and we were walking. He was playing on a yacht, and then we were walking back from the yacht last night, and these guys just go, "Hey, Robbie, yeah, we're big Arsenal fans. Come on our yacht." And we was on this yacht with jacuzzi on it. Someone's got to do it, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, someone does. Yeah.
Well, I've got Clapham Commons, so yeah, you know.
Well,
fair
no,
enough.
no, it's great.
River Thames ain't
Great
too
over
far
at the
from you,
moment.
so.
Great over at the moment, guys, and there's loads of Arsenal fans over here, and every single one asks that same question: when are we gonna sign a striker? Like Gyökeres, Sesko. If I had like £1 for everybody who's asked me that, I'd be a millionaire already. Like, we got to get something done. It's getting beyond the
agreed.
joke now. Have you? By the way, because I've been out of the loop this evening, but has there been any news on
Oh, you ain't heard?
anything?
You ain't heard? We're advancing again.
Advancing on what?
Pats and
Everyone.
Daka.
Yeah, Daka, Werner, and Nketiah might come back. I see you with Balogun as well. So maybe have a word with Balogun. And see if
At this stage, I'll take Werner. The way we're going on, I'll take him. I tell you, it's ridiculous.
they're gonna clip him.
Havertz and Werner, get the band back together, man. Get the band back
Get the
together.
band back together. Nice one, guys. Nice one.
Who would have thought? Hey,
Enjoy,
who would
have
have
the best
thought?
time, guys.
All right. Love
Nice.
Great
people. Yeah,
time.
we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Blessings.
See you later. I hope they have a fucking terrible time. What the
Yeah,
hell?
man. Why haven't I got this
What
press
the-
conference email, man? What the hell's going on? These are the one. What's going on? I'm your +1. That's what I'm saying.
Fine, no
I'm your
worries.
cameraman. I'm your cameraman in
Yeah.
the press conference.
Hi, I'm James. I'm here with AFTV. This is my cameraman. No. I know he looks familiar. No, you don't. No.
He ain't him.
His
He
name-
ain't him.
his
He's
name's
Irish.
Joe. His name's Joe. He's just here for a good time. Yeah, don't worry about him. Irish, for fuck's sake. Right, we're going to 8:30, people. So let's grab this super chat. Abdullah says, I joined the video a bit late. I'd love to chat. Can you guys explain how to come on? I just sent the video message on the app. Okay, Abdullah, so it's not the video message, I don't believe. If you click the link, but I mean, if you're on the app, great. The link will take you to the app as well. It's Fan Zone. Hopefully we'll be able to get you in. If not, we'll be here 7 p.m. every Wednesday. I'll be here 7 p.m. every Wednesday anyway. So, yeah, we'll definitely be able to get your thoughts at some point, either tonight, next week, whenever it is. But thank you for wanting to join in, and thank you to everyone who has joined so far. Sue says, I'm waiting to see if Cecil gets his special massage. By the way, am I doing something wrong because I can't call in using the app? Love for the love. Suge, man, love you to bits. Always trying to support the channel. I don't know if you're doing something wrong, but drop me a message and we can figure that out. Just send some screenshots to me about what's going wrong and we'll figure that out. Lord Cannon in the comments saying, Madrid are looking terrible. Brilliant. Anything to get Rodrygo out of there. And I'm just checking with production if we've got any more callers. I think we might have one. Yeah, right. Perfect. Let's get our next caller in. Also, there's an update from Florian Plettenberg, Sky Germany. Oh, great. As reported and confirmed, there is no full agreement yet between Sesko and Arsenal. Leipzig are demanding 80 to 100 million euros. What? I knew this. I'm just so bored. Right. Next caller. Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
Hey, you're right. It's Andrew from Coventry.
Lovely to meet you, Andrew, mate. Lovely to meet you.
I just wanted to speak. Yeah, you're right. There's a little delay, but basically, I live in Coventry. I've supported Arsenal since Bruce Rioch, so just before Wenger. So I've had a hard time, like you guys. But just the window is really disappointing, and I know people are saying it's early days, but you're just waking up every day, and it's just another knock. Like Rodrygo staying. Gyökeres wants to join us, and then he's choosing Man United. It's just toing and throwing. And just the way I'm looking at next season is unless we get a prolific, real, like, curtain raiser left winger and a prolific striker as well, I'm not even looking forward to next season. Like, it's a write-off for me. And that's irrespective of what Liverpool are doing, which is a madness, by the way.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good way to put it, Turkish, to be fair.
I mean, 100% agree. I mean, my thing is, we're always in a position where we have to look around and use others as examples, it shouldn't be the case. We should be focusing on what we need to do, get what we need to do done. If some players overlap in interest, okay, then maybe, Liverpool want him too, okay. But the reality is we've always got to look around, because we've always got to make excuses, find reasons, copium around why we haven't done it. You said, Bruce, it's around the same time. My first game was 94, so it wasn't too long before that. This is the Arsenal way in the transfer market.
We never do what's required, though, do we? I've lost count the amount of times you're always looking at it, and it's like, right, if Arsenal do this, we can get to here, and we never do. And even when we have little spouts of, this is looking really good, and if we just, like Kvaratskhelia, I know you always mention it, like, why did we let him go? It's madness.
Well, ambition goes a long way.
Honestly.
Ambition goes a long way. This is my issue. I don't expect Arsenal. I'm not sitting here going, you should beat PSG to Kvaratskhelia, done. You should beat Liverpool to Isak, done. You should beat Man City to Shirky, done. I'm not demanding that of the club, because I acknowledge that it's still quite a jump to convince players to join you when it's the others who have been claiming titles. So I understand that. I include Florian Wirtz in this conversation. My biggest issue is that our names are never there. So one of two things are happening. The likely thing, Arsenal aren't in those conversations, which is so frustrating. Or they've inquired, but they haven't briefed the media, because why? They don't want to be seen. They don't want Arteta to be seen as rejected, or Arsenal to have been rejected, or whatever. But I would admire the club if David Ornstein went, Arsenal came in with a big offer for Florian Wirtz, spoke to the player, but he chose Liverpool. I go, fair, you tried. Like, at least I know you wanted to add that player. Or Arsenal have bid 140 million for Isak. Newcastle have turned it down and are fundamentally not selling the player. Okay, cool. Like, and then I can at least say that the club tried to do the right things. And listen, obviously, after so many rejections or whatever, you start to go, well, what's the problem? Is it the manager? Is it whatever? Is it why can't we get these over the line? But in general, we're not even in the conversation. Like, that's such a basic thing to require from the club. We're not even getting that. That's where, Andrew, I'm personally really disappointed.
I think, but I don't know about you guys, but the pools there, we're a big club. And if we go back to the Havertz deal, like, he was stinking out the gaff at Chelsea for 3 seasons. He was rubbish. So why do we go to Chelsea and go, okay, we'll give you 65? Well, how about we hang up the phone and say, no, we'll give you 40 and that's it. That's our top. You know, leave him. He can stay there. Like, why did we go and that deal scuppered everything going in the future? His wages and the fee.
That's a really good point on Havertz, because I think we'd reflect on that so differently. If Havertz came in for 40, even 45 million, he was on 200 grand a week, not 265. I think we'd all be going, okay, no, he's not been the answer to anything, but does a job, can be used in quite a few ways, part of the
Chelsea
squad.
wouldn't say no to that.
And it doesn't feel project defining. Like, I know Bayern and Real Madrid were strongly linked with Havertz. They were, to be fair. I know that they were looking at him. I remember following it all, and I was so surprised that so many clubs of that ilk were in for Kai Havertz. But what, he would have rather have stayed at Chelsea? He wouldn't have come. He would have joined us. Now, maybe his salary at Chelsea was nuts, so we had to match that. But even on the transfer fee front, like, Chelsea were under real pressure to sell, and we couldn't just do a 40 to 45 million pound deal. That's the stuff I find really strange, because we'd reflect on that differently, in my opinion. What do you actually, Turkish? I love your thoughts on it. What do you think?
Does this go
sorry,
go
on, Andrew.
I just said, does this go back to Edu? Was it him doing these deals? Is the only way you could get Havertz to our club was give him stupid money?
No, because for me,
but
for me, the protection that this ownership and the manager now gets it's amazing to me, because stop me if I'm wrong. When a role is head coach, you can lean on the sporting director more and look at the decisions he makes more than if the head coach is a manager. And 6 months into Arteta's reign, he was made manager. Right? Let's not forget, with Arteta and with Arsene Wenger, who was manager, the idea of a sporting director didn't make sense, because I am the manager. I am managing this squad, team, atmosphere, link between the fans and so I've never been one to lean on Edu over the years. Inexperienced signing, bringing him in, especially coupling up with an inexperienced manager. But at the end of the day, I never pointed fingers at Edu, because Arteta's made manager. He's the one that gets the big bucks, and the Kroenkes have been in charge a lot longer. Edu's actually done something at this club that, goes down in history, and his name's etched in Arsenal folklore. Me and you in particular, we lived through that era. So I've never been one to point. Like, I'm not going to point at Berta, who's the complete opposite. Berta comes with the stripes. He comes with the CV. He comes with the reputation. So how can any of us point at him now? I can see people trying on the internet, but they are doing that to protect the manager and or the ownership yet again. Whether we've got an inexperienced man in Edu or the most experienced in Berta, we've got a manager, not a head coach, and we've got be excited Josh Kroenke. So I'm not going to go to the sporting director when the reality is these are the men that really make the decisions. Josh Kroenke and Arteta are the two most the Kroenkes and Arteta are the most important people at this club.
Yeah, and it's the people they put in, like, haven't you heard, like, Lewis and all that? They'll make the final say, hence why we didn't get Watkins. Like, you telling me we could have gone another level in the Champions League, and what is it, 11 mil every time you progress a stage, but we didn't want to put the extra money in to get Watkins. That could have won us something. I know Watkins isn't the guy, and that would have scuppered Sesko or whoever striker we buy in the summer, but we needed something. City knew they needed some, boom, they went and did it.
I'll tell you how they look at it, yeah? And I don't know this for a fact, but let's say it's January. Oh, Watkins is available.
Resale value.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, that is probably the main thing, especially when we're talking about Sesko. But they probably would have thought, all right, if we bring Watkins in, what can we do? We're already out of the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, first leg 2-0. Can we win the Champions League with Watkins? Probably
Yeah.
not. Can we win the Premier League with Watkins? Probably not. So we're not going to
Probably thought
recoup
Madrid
the
as
money.
bankers, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So the club said we're going to make our money regardless of this signing this season. We're going to make Champions League, and that's it. We've even made enough for the first 8 league games already in the Champions League. So back to square one, back to the same old bullshit for them. That's how I see it.
Well, that's why it's disappointing, because like apparently our Champions League campaign we've made 120 or whatever, and then the league the same, and then January we didn't spend a penny, and then last summer, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we recoup all the money back with the sales of Eddie, Ramsdale,
Profit.
and all of that? So why can't we go and spend 300 mil?
We can.
That was the figure I wanted us to do. Andrew, we're
It's
going to say a
disappointing.
big thank you,
Disappointing
man.
is the biggest word.
Yeah. Mate, big pleasure. Thank you
Yeah,
so
no worries.
much
First
for
time
joining
calling.
us. Honestly, some great thoughts there. And yeah, thank you, man. I hope to hear
Cheers.
from you again.
That's
Catch you in a bit. And we'll get our final caller on, and then wrap up the show. Who is joining us? Final thoughts. Hey, how you doing, man? What's your name?
My name is Farai. Hello, Turkish. Hello, James.
Hello,
Big fan of yours, Turkish. I also follow your channel, James.
Thank you
I'm not
so
going to
much.
take too much of you guys' time because I know it's already past, I just want to pick up where the other guy left off. And I don't know if it's just my anxiety of being an Arsenal fan over the years settling in. I know we still have some time before next season kicks off, but my mind is already going crazy. When I think of how other clubs are moving in terms of the transfer window, I think they were more prepared and they were more planned than us. You look at Liverpool. I don't know if you guys have watched the Amazon documentary where Klopp goes on to talk about how they plan for next year's transfers the year before. And it's not surprising to me that in a few days that the transfer window opened, Frimpong is in. They're almost done with the first deal. Arsenal, on the other hand, we've known for the past 2 years what we need as fans, but it seems us in the club are on 2 different pages. I don't know, maybe they think we don't know much about football, but we are more invested in the game than they are. For them, it's a money thing. For us, it's an emotional thing. We are attached to this. So I don't know if it's just me freaking out of my mind or this is reality settling in, and come the end of the window, we're going to be left with Oli Watkins and Marcus Rashford or whoever it is that they're going to throw onto us. But yeah, it's not looking too pretty from where I'm sitting. I know Robbie and James, you're the optimistic type, and you go on to say maybe they're negotiating deals behind the scenes and such. But I'm not a believer at this point in time, because if you really want to play a difference in valuation, if it's 5 or 10 million, it shouldn't make much of a difference if you're a big club. If you really want the player, if a club say they want 60 and you go and offer 52, what's the difference between bringing up 52 million, just bringing the full 60 and getting your player? For me, it doesn't make sense at all. Like, I don't know what's going on at the football club. And to me, it feels like Berta and Arteta are on 2 different pages, because if Arteta had a plan before Berta came in, it's just a matter of Berta executing whatever Arteta's plan was. Like, Berta came in and he's like, oops, I don't really agree with this and that. Feels like we need a new plan, and it's going to take longer than we thought it was going to take. And coming off the back end of last season where we feel horrible as Arsenal fans, we thought it was something to bring us back, to being rejuvenated again and hopeful that we're going to have a good season, but it's not nice. I don't want to lie to you. It's not nice.
Yeah, look, I totally hear you, man. What you were saying about the difference in valuation for the sake of getting a player that makes a difference. That's how I felt with Ollie Watkins in January. I was like, you willing to pay 40? Why not just pay 60? Because it means we've got a striker, and crucially, we didn't just need a striker for quality. We need a striker for depth. I mean, the injury crisis in the front line was ridiculous. So I totally agree with you on that. And also, it's not really that it's not that I'm really more optimistic than others. It's more that I heard an analogy the other day, which was like, if I go to a restaurant, the steak's shit. I'll wait till someone brings it and I try it to tell them. And I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit like, I know things aren't looking good, but I'm just gonna wait. I can see in the kitchen that there's a fire. Yeah, the steak looks burnt. I'm like, okay, this isn't looking good, but let me wait till I taste it because I'm just a bit like, you know, I know this club perennially under deliver in the transfer market, but I'm just gonna wait till literally preseason starts, and then when it does and we haven't done our business, I'll lose my shit. Quite frankly, I'm enjoying my few days of peace while I have it. But it's not that it's not that I really feel much more optimistic. It's that I just think, well, they might be doing this, so I'm going to give them the chance to see if that is what they're doing. Inevitably, they're probably not, but let's see.
Of course they're not.
I'm losing my shit as it is. Yeah, go ahead, Turkish. Sorry about that.
No,
Sorry about that, mate. Go ahead.
no, I had to go ahead for it. If you want me to moan for the last 7 minutes of the show, I can do that. But everyone will soon realize why I've been the way I am, because all James was missing at the end of what he just said there is the killer, and the killer for me was Van Persie to United, and we've got a good few players now we love, and I saw how it ended before with players that I used to love. I've seen what they said afterwards, even till this day, recently with a Fabregas, for example. And all I want is for that not to happen again, but it looks like it will be happening again. And that will be the line for a lot of this new generation of fans. And then I wonder what the club do from there. I wake up every day hoping that I get a message that Kroenke has sold the club. It's far fetched. It's probably not going to happen. But that's the reality, because we as a fan base talk of them like they're not billionaires, like they're not top 5, top 6 richest owners in world football. Like our manager is not top 3 highest paid. Like they've got this company, and to them it's a company. They've got this company exactly where they want it. They've got these customers, because we are customers to them, exactly where they want us. Yeah, and you're looking at a model for a company, and how billionaire owners would love their customers to act. You can look at Arsenal Football Club, and that could be the model for a lot. How do you achieve that? It's hard, because I don't know how we got to this position now. With Wenger, I understood he had a lot of credit in the bank, and even then, towards the end, I was like, right, like you might have loved him, yeah. So do I. So did I. Whatever it was at the time, I do, for what he done. But at the end of the day, look at what's come about. And now we were doing the same with Mikel Arteta. We're doing the same with the same ownership that we watched use and abuse Arsene to the point where it became all about him, because he was being paid to make it all about him. But we haven't learned our lesson from that. We've allowed these owners, these disgusting owners, to get away with. Let's just talk about that. Forget Van Persie to United or the decline of the club in the Emirates era. Look at what they did to the great man Wenger. Look at what they did to him, and we're gonna go blind again because some man love Mikel or some Minar because of whatever players, and lose ourselves for these owners again. Top customers, top customers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the start to the season is a blessing in disguise, because whether we were going to get that run of games in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, or the end of the season, we're meant to be ready either way. And if we get exposed within the first starting 5 games, then it's up for the manager. I think we can all agree on that, because it, we can't still be saying after all these years he needs more time. He needs more time, and the league has got an agenda against us, or the refs has got an agenda against us. No, work like that. It's been years, and we were supposed to that. It's been years, and we were supposed to be ready last year. He was supposed to give us the missing pieces that we needed. It didn't happen. And understand what James was saying in terms of the same age as you, James. And I grew up in the era where, when I was a kid, Arsenal was winning things. But isn't a doubt, going through primary school and high school, your friends banter you all the time because your club doesn't win anything at all. So when you tell me to wait until the end of the transfer window, it's been like that. When you were coming into the summer, we were told that Arsenal are gonna go in for Nico Williams. Nico is going Barcelona, mate. We're told that Arsenal were gonna get Isak. They haven't even tried. Okay, fine. Are you gonna settle for Gyökeres or Sesko? You don't even know. You have no idea what it is you want to do. Next thing they tell you they're gonna go for Rodrygo. It's not gonna happen, mate. I can tell you that much. It's not gonna happen because if Rodrygo was one of their main targets, would have heard something by now. Talks. And I'm so tired of these talks. One day you're progressing, the next day you've agreed. The next day you haven't agreed anything at all. Like, where is this all going? United, when they signed Kuna, we only heard about it for a few days and it was done. When Liverpool signed Frimpong, whatever, it was done. Manchester City has been going about their business, even though they haven't signed anyone you'd consider big, but they've done their business and they're getting all the pieces they need. We finished second for the past 3 years and we're supposed to be the ones pushing to win next season. And it feels like we're back in that era where we're just doing enough to get top 4 and get Champions League again. From such a high to such a low, it's so heartbreaking. Yeah.
And if the season starts and it doesn't go the way we want it to go, listen, Arteta should be under pressure, but no one should be more under pressure than Josh and Stan. And we can't let them get away with putting Josh's sister as the face next. Whitney Kroenke is the new face of Arsenal ownership, and she's going to take us into the new era. We clean a new slate. It's a new process. Be excited. Be amazed. Might be the next one. Let's not fall for that bullshit again, because we've seen what the club do when we're back to square one. And square one doesn't mean trophies. It means making money and qualifying for Champions League football.
Be amazed has killed me. Mate, we're going to love you and leave you. A big thank you for joining the show, man. You've been class. Thank you for your thoughts, and we'll see you soon, yeah?
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
See you soon. I really enjoyed that, guys. Some really good callers. Got a super chat from Abdullah. Says, if we wanted a starting left back, right back, or 10, and we saw Frimpong, Gyökeres, and Wirtz go to Liverpool, I'd be mad. The top strikers still out there. Same for left wingers. Just trust them for now. 9 out of 1 is still a long way to go, or not? 9 to what? I'm not sure what you mean by that bit, but yeah, Abdullah, thank you for your super chat. Michael says, where does this notion come from that Arteta has the most power after Josh? The Athletic reported many times Garlic, Lewis, Burt all have more power in the market. So are we speculating or what? I'll tell you where it comes from, Michael, just very, very quickly, because we're rounding up now, is simply whenever we do sign a player, the PR machine tells us that it was all because of Mikel Arteta. That's why. It's because it's always Mikel picked up the phone, Mikel convinced, Mikel did this. So when we don't do the kind of business we want to do, we rightly look there. If we have an amazing window, then I'd like Berta, Lewis, Richard Garlic to all get their credit too in the reports. They did this, they did that. Tell us what they did, if that's where the responsibility lies, because it's always given to Mikel the praise. So when we don't do what we have to do in the window, I'm naturally looking to him.
Yeah, well, that's their star boy, isn't it? So they're gonna do every good thing. Gonna be, sold as his. Don't forget. I remember when Willian said we're gonna win the Champions League in 3 years. That was 3 years ago.
That was a good one.
So they're always.
That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean the 3 years ago. The end of the 3 years was 2 years ago now. So yeah, it's just, come on, man. Like it's just sickening, because with Wenger we saw if I ask anyone, with Wenger, what did he do to deserve the pay rises in the last 8 years of his Arsenal reign? What did he do to deserve it? There's no answer that can justify a pay rise. He got it because he was the shield for the nonsense, right? And if Arsenal go next season and we don't win anything again, Arteta ain't going to be sacked, because the problem is more from above. They're going to work out a way to sell it again. And, because a year ago it was don't be satisfied. And even at the end of this season, Arteta's leaning a hell of a lot on injuries and a lot of things, a lot of fine margins that he could have eliminated a long time ago. So, the strength of his shield is dwindling in fast pace, because he's not Wenger. But we'll find out. That start to the season is perfect for me. It's delicious. It's exciting. I can't wait for it. I just want us to be ready for it, because we could come out of that 6 games thinking we're going to do it this season, or we can come out of those 6 games thinking, yeah, this club's a joke. And, the quicker we find out moving into next season, the less time people have to make the nonsense excuses they make by April, March.
Well, Let's hope something picks up and something significant picks up, man, because we desperately need it, and it's all looking a bit slow at the moment, and that's putting it nicely. Guys, thank you to everyone who called. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. We're rounding off, Suj. I know I saw your message, and I know that you were able to get it to work. We will chat to you next week. So please do join us again. We're here the same time, like 7 p.m. UK time, here on AFTV on Fan Zone. And you can all access that, guys, via the AFTV Plus app. We'll put the link in all the live chats we do as well. Thanks, Turkish, for joining me. Thank you to everyone who called. Robbie and Cecil are definitely drunk somewhere watching Cardi B, so good on them. Check out their stories on Instagram. And we'll round it off to everyone. Love to you all in the comments, and we'll catch you all in a bit.